Modupe was shocked when she first heard the news.
Ọba Adégòkè ti wàjà.
Oba Adegoke had gone to be with his ancestors. She didn't know whether to be sad or happy that the man who had raped her, turned her into a single mother, and chased her away was dead. While Akoni was growing up, she told him the story surrounding his birth. Akoni had accepted his fate like the brave man his mother raised him to be. There was an Oro possession to usher the late Oba Adegoke into the realms of his ancestors. The possession lasted for 7 days and everyone was required to stay indoors while the Ifa priest carried out the rituals. This was a sober time for the whole village as they all mourned the death of their king. After the mourning period for Oba Adegoke's passing had ended, it was time to select the new king. However, a problem arose. Oba Adegoke had no male heir to inherit his throne. According to Edelman's tradition, if a king dies without a son, the husband of his first daughter becomes the new king. But none of Oba Adegoke's 3 daughters, Aderonke, Tinuade, and Adetutu, were married. Despite their beauty, they had driven away all potential suitors with their rudeness, laziness, and poor behavior. The palace maid disliked them due to their disrespectful attitude towards the elderly and their mistreatment of the younger maidens. Additionally, the princesses lacked basic domestic skills like cooking and doing house chores, and as a result of this, no suitable suitors or husband was forthcoming. Aderonke, determined to become queen by all means and any means, devised a plan. She approached her mother, expressing her concern about their situation. "Mami," she began, "how long are we going to continue being the laughingstock of this village?" she asked. "What do you mean, Aderonke? Don't act like you don't know what everyone in the village is gossiping about, that we are unable to find a suitable suitor for ourselves." Her mother sighed. My daughter, I believe at the right time, the right suitor will come for you." "Mommy, we have been waiting for the right suitor and the right time for a long time since our father, the Kabiyesi, died. I can't wait anymore." "You have to be patient, Aderonke. It won't take longer anymore." "Mother," she replied, "we have been patient enough. It's high time we take matters into our own hands." "What are you suggesting we do then? Do you have any plan?" her mother asked. She moved closer to her mother and whispered her plan to her. "I was thinking that we could find someone to pretend to be my suitor, just to save face and stop the gossip. We can pay him to play along." Her mother's eyes widened in surprise, but then a sly smile spread across her face. "I know just the right person," she said. "His name is Olatunji, a struggling thespian in the next village. I am sure he will be happy to play the role for a price." Then, some weeks later, they approached Olatunji with the proposal. They offered him a large sum of money to pretend to be Aderonke's suitor and eventually to be her husband. Olatunji was tempted by the offer. He agreed to play along. The village was soon abuzz with the news that Princess Aderonke was getting married in the next few weeks. She had finally found a worthy suitor, or so it seems. The villagers were happy that they were finally going to have a new king several months after the death of Oba Adegoke. The wedding day finally arrived and Princess Aderonke was dressed in a beautiful free-flowing attire adorned with diamond pearls. She looked beautiful and radiant, and her face shone with excitement as she prepared to tie the knot with Olatunji. The villagers were partying and celebrating, and there was so much to eat and drink. Little did they know that the whole thing was a rush, and Aderonke's husband was just a paid actor. While the wedding activities was going on, Aderonke and her fake husband Olatunji got into an argument. The argument started when Olatunji requested a larger share of the payment that they had agreed on the fake wedding. Aderonke felt that he was being greedy and ungrateful, considering that they had already agreed on a substantial amount of money and they have paid him this amount. Olatunji, on the other hand, was feeling underpaid, retorted that he was the one taking the biggest risk by pretending to be her husband and that he deserved more compensation. Aderonke told him that he was nothing but just a paid actor and she could easily replace him. Olatunji shot back.
You can only replace fake husband. You can't get a real husband. Your mother failed in raising you, and here you are, paying someone to pretend to be your husband.
Aderonke, feeling furious, gave him a resounding slap, cutting him short. The whole village grasped in shock as what they had just witnessed. The princess had just slapped her husband on her wedding day in the presence of the whole village.
I have had enough of all this.
Olatunji's voice rose as he took off his wedding attire. I am no longer interested in doing any of this. The whole village was left dumbfounded as they stood still and wondered what was happening.
I am going to let the cat out of the bag.
Olatunji continued. Aderonke's mother was winking at him and rubbing her palms together to plead with him not to reveal their secrets. He ignored her and continued.
This marriage is fake.
The whole village grasped in shock. They almost couldn't believe what they were hearing. Princess Aderonke simply sat still, soaking up all the shame that followed the revelation of her carefully hatched plan with her mother. She had thought that everything would go on smoothly and had no idea that things would go haywire. But it was all her fault. She silently regretted slapping him.
Yes, you all had me right. This wedding, our wedding, is fake. Obviously, Princess Aderonke is so desperate for a husband that she had to pay someone to pretend to be her husband. I was paid a large amount of money to pretend that we were getting married, but I would no longer be a part of this sham. I am ready to refund all I took. I don't just want anything to do with this royal family anymore, whether fake or real.
He finished and stormed off. Aderonke tried desperately to hide her tears as her mother escorted her back into the palace. The merrymaking and feasting ended abruptly and the festive atmosphere quickly disappeared and was replaced with a gloomy shadow. The guests and villagers left the venue in twos and threes, whispering to each other as they left. In the weeks that followed, strange things began to happen in Edelma village. Crops started withering and their livestock were dying. The once peaceful village started fighting each other for the flimsiest reasons. The chiefs and elders were at a loss for what was happening and what they could do. They decided to consult the Ifa and ask him for a way out of their predicament. Ifa revealed that the king had a male son and only he was fit to ascend the throne. If he didn't ascend his father's throne, then there would never be peace in Edelma again. The elders were stunned. They had no idea that the king had a son somewhere. They wondered why the king kept it a secret from everyone, even until his death. The Ifa priest warned them that the son was the only one who could save the village from their current predicament. Desperate to see peace and normality return to their village, the chiefs organized the palace guard into search parties. For weeks, they scoured the whole village, asking every villager if they knew anything about the king's son. Modupe, on the other hand, heard about what was happening and discussed it with her son. Her son gave his blessings that she should go ahead and reveal the truth so that peace could return to their village. Modupe went to the chiefs to tell them that she was the mother of the king's only son. The chiefs were shocked. Modupe was a lone woman who had lived most of her life on the outskirts of the village, and her son was blind. Modupe narrated her story to them, giving them all the details of how the king raped her and threw her out of the palace, and also rejected her son after learning that he was born blind. Her revelation caught everyone off guard. However, the chiefs, the elders, and villagers all decided that he could not be their king. A blind man could not be king, they said. How would he rule us? He would be unable to lead the village and protect them from harm, they said to themselves. Modupe was insistent. Her son, she said, was a strong and capable young man. Akoni may have been born without sight, but I have taught him to be a great warrior, to fight with his other senses. She begged the villagers to give him a chance, but they all refused. The chiefs thought the king must have another son somewhere, so they asked the guards to double their search and even search nearby villages as well. The chief priest warned them that Ifa had revealed only one son to him, and that the consequences of them rejecting the rightful king would be very severe, but all his warnings fell on deaf ears. As the day passed, the village's problem only grew worse. Crops continued to wither, and their remaining surviving livestock all died. The villagers grew more and more desperate, and then, one day, a group of bandits from a neighboring village invaded Edelma. The villagers, led by the guards, tried to fight back, but they were no match for the bandits. Just as all seemed lost, a figure emerged from the crowd. It was Akoni, Modupe's blind son. Despite his disability, he was a strong and fierce warrior, and he fought the bandits with a skill and ferocity that would make anyone doubt if he was truly blind. He fought with all his strength and blood, and he took down the bandits after bandits. Finally, the invading bandits retreated. Several men had been killed, but Akoni saved the day. Otherwise, there would have been far more casualties. The villagers were all surprised. They had rejected Akoni as their king, but he had just saved them from the notorious bandits. The elders, chiefs, and villagers gathered around him, begging him for forgiveness. "We were wrong to reject you," they said. "You are the true king, chosen by the gods themselves." Thereafter, Akoni was crowned king amidst great celebration. There was plenty of eating and drinking and merriment for several days. The villagers cheered as he accepted the throne. His mother by his side. She was vindicated at last. She remembered the midwife's words several years ago. This was her fate, and this was her son's fate. Aderonke, Tinuade, and Adetutu, with their mother, shamefully left the palace, despite King Akoni's insistence that they stayed. They all promised to change their characters and learn how to cook and do other basic house chores so that they could finally get a suitor and get married. Thereafter, peace returned to the village and the people were happy, knowing that they had a king who would always fight for them no matter what stood their way. And here comes the end of the story. What is that important lesson that you have learned from this story? Let me know in the comment section. Do well to like, share with your friends, comment, and subscribe to this channel. See you in my next one. Bye.